There was a young man who grew up in an insular community in Yerushalayim, and the challenges of Shmiras Einayim from billboards and advertisements was non-existent. Sadly, his daughter became very sick, and he spent a lot of time in the hospital with her. One morning, he walks into the hospital, and the Rosh Machlaka, the chief doctor, is examining her, and he's shaking his head, and he's like, the situation is not good. The father says, is there anything that we could do? And he says, I'll tell you something incredible. I just heard about a new drug, a new medicine that I think could really help her. The problem is that there's only one pharmacy in the whole country that stocks that medicine, and it's in Tel Aviv. The father didn't have to hear anything else. He runs out, he hails the first taxi, and he begins his journey to Tel Aviv. And everything was smooth. They're going on the interstate highway. He's davening that everything should work out well. But when they turned off to one of the sub-highways in the Gush Dan area, all of a sudden the challenges started. The billboards, the buses, even the people, to his right, to his left, so many challenges for Shmiras Einayim. And it was at that point that all of a sudden the Satan went into battle mode, and the taivas, the desire, becomes stronger and stronger. And he wants to look here, and he wants to look there, and he feels himself falling, and all of a sudden he grabs himself. It's like, what's happening here? And he remembers the famous Shmiras Einayim that so many of the Vayimaen speakers have referenced. The Shmiras Einayim says that in that nanosecond when you're about to chas v'shalom be nichshal in Shmiras Einayim, it's a tremendous eitz ratzon. It's a moment that's so auspicious. And he says, you know what, I'm going to chat myself. And he begins to daven, and he says, Rabbi Shalom, in the schus of controlling myself, of my kedusha, please send refuah shalema to my daughter back in Yerushalayim. Not 60 seconds went by, and his phone rings, and he picks it up. It's his wife. She says, where are you? He says, I'm not even there yet. She goes, come back. He goes, what's wrong? He says, everything is right. The doctors don't understand. Inexplicably, she all of a sudden took a turn for the better, and they think she's going to be okay. The doctor said not to get her the medication. The Yeshua, the refuah for his investment in Shmiras Einayim was almost instantaneous. And that's incredible. But I think there's one added wrinkle to this. And that is that not only there was Izaycha to the refuah, but the Rebbe Shalom didn't even want him to have to get out of the taxi in Tel Aviv. And if healing his daughter was the way to make that happen, the Rebbe Shalom was willing to provide that refuah. Do you know what the Bas Ayin says? The Bas Ayin writes that there are two words in Lashon HaKodesh that have exactly the same letters. The word nega and the word oineg. The nun and the gimel are right next to one another. The only difference is that oineg, delight, amazement, gishmak, the ayin's in the beginning of the word. Nega, sickness, pain, hurt. The ayin is at the end of the word, says the Bas Ayin. When a person puts his ayin, his Shmiras Einayim, front and center, it's first and foremost. And then what follows is the nun and the gimel, oineg, a life of incredible delight. But Rachmana litzlan, when a person is not into being Shema their Einayim, it's always the last thing they think about. The ayin is at the end of the word. And Rachmana litzlan, there could be nega. There could be all kinds of major challenges, problems, and issues. This fellow went me'afela la'ar gadol, from a moment of tremendous darkness to incredible light. He went from a moment of nega, of pain, of hurt, to oineg, to the most incredible delight. Why? All in the schus of Shmiras Einayim.